As they rush inside, Will's mind races. He sees Bibi lying weakly on the bed, her face pale and her breath shallow. It's worse than he imagined. He feels a pang of guilt for not coming sooner. Just then, Katie mentions that they need professional help, someone from the green zone. Though reluctant, Will knows it's the only option. Without another word, he forces his way into the green zone, dragging a doctor back to their place. The doctor examines Bibi thoroughly before delivering the grim news. The radiation exposure from her time working on alien tech in no man's land has caused cancer, and she has no more than 48 hours to live. Will's world shatters. Bibi, weak but aware of her fate, takes the news bravely. She knows her time is short, but she makes one last request to Will. She wants to die at home, like a soldier. With tears in his eyes and a heavy heart, Will agrees. He takes her home, where she expresses her final wish to die with dignity. In one of the most heart-wrenching moments, Will places the gun to her head and pulls the trigger, ending her suffering. The emotional weight of Bibi's death leaves Will in a state of profound sorrow and confusion. His trust in those around him starts to crumble, especially with Bruce, whose absence during Bibi's critical moment creates a rift between them. Will also notices that wanted posters of himself and Morgan have been plastered around the block, signaling that their situation is becoming even more dangerous. As Will tries to process Bibi's death, we see Bruce meeting with Katie. She informs him of Bibi's passing, which deeply saddens Bruce, although he knows there was little he could have done. Despite their growing distance, Bruce and Katie remain committed to finding a solution to their dire circumstances. In the next scene, Sonia, a cunning member of the Red Hand, seduces a man and sends him toward the Green Zone gate with a hidden bomb strapped to his body. As soon as he reaches the gate, Sonia detonates the bomb, causing a massive explosion. Her cold and calculated actions reveal just how dangerous the Red Hand has become. Will and Katie, desperate to stop the escalating violence, begin investigating the Red Hand's activities. Will learns that he has been assigned to uncover who was behind the Green Gate explosion and who is leading the Red Hand. Bob, a trusted ally, joins him in this mission. Together, they trace Sonia's location, leading to a high-stakes raid. After a tense firefight, they manage to capture Sonia, but not before Will makes a controversial decision to let an unarmed Red Hand member escape, sparking further complications in their mission. As Sonia is captured, Bob, frustrated and eager for answers, begins to brutally torture her. Will, disturbed by the violence, steps in and stops him, asking Sonia gently who the leader of the Red Hand is. She gasps for breath and responds, "I don't know. My job was only to lure people into joining the Red Hand, nothing more." Sonia, weak from the interrogation, begins to lose consciousness. Will, seeing her condition, loosens her restraints. Taking advantage of the moment, Sonia swallows a cyanide pill, ending her life. Will is left to deal with the aftermath, and soon enough, he faces a scolding from Bennett for letting this happen under his watch. Back at the labor camp, Maya and Bram have successfully used Snyder's stolen keycard to access the shipment area. Maya is busy setting up explosives, aiming to destroy the alien ship when it arrives to collect the human-filled capsules. However, things go sideways when Bram encounters the Warden. Fortunately, Bram's friend steps in, killing the Warden and saving Bram's life. Later that night, as the alien ship takes off with the capsules, Maya's bomb detonates, obliterating the ship. The explosion is witnessed by everyone in the block, a chilling reminder that their rebellion has now escalated to a full-scale war with the aliens. In the aftermath, Bram learns that Maya sacrificed her life to carry out the plan, leaving him devastated. Meanwhile, Katie, now in possession of crucial population data thanks to Bruce, informs Will that the countdown they've discovered relates to the dwindling population of their block. As Bruce had suspected, it is a countdown to their extinction, as the block's residents are merely a labor force, destined to be eliminated. When Will asks how long they have, Katie grimly responds, 2 years, 3 months, and 9 days. As the scene cuts, we find Governor General Helen discussing the destroyed alien ship with her officials. She had hoped that the incident would give her the opportunity to take control of Block L, but her proposal is rejected. Instead, a public announcement is made, downplaying the explosion as a minor test and assuring people there's nothing to fear. Back in the investigation, Will's superiors discover that Emmett, a Red Hand member, managed to escape during Sonia's raid, the same man Will had allowed to flee. Determined to catch him, Bennett assigns Bob to lead the mission to track down Emmett, ordering him to revisit the site where Sonia was captured and search for more clues. Katie, now fully entangled in the resistance efforts, meets with Bruce and tells him about Emmett's escape. She reveals that Will had let Emmett go, believing the Red Hand would kill him if they caught him. Only Hansi, a local ally who has been aiding resistance groups, knows where Emmett is hiding. Katie and Bruce decide to seek Hansi's help to save Emmett before the Red Hand can track him down. They leave to find Hansi. As the scene shifts back to the labor camp, Snyder confronts Bram after discovering his role in stealing the keycard. Snyder furiously tells Bram that he has endangered the entire camp by tampering with the shipment. He warns Bram that the aliens, known as Raps, won't hesitate to destroy the camp in retaliation. Snyder offers Bram a grim deal. If he reveals the names of Maya's accomplices, fewer people might die. With no other choice, Bram gives up the names, and Snyder executes them in front of Bram's eyes, leaving him devastated. Meanwhile, Katie and Bruce meet Hansi, handing over the gauntlet and the data they recovered to ensure their safety. In exchange, Hansi gives them Emmett's location. Emmett, it turns out, has been hiding in a safe house thanks to Hansi's help. But just as Katie and Bruce prepare to rescue Emmett, Bob's surveillance team discovers his whereabouts, setting the stage for a race against time. Katie, hearing from Bob that Emmett is about to be caught, rushes with Bruce to warn him. They manage to reach Emmett just in time, explaining the situation and urging him to escape. However, the Red Hand soldiers arrive moments later. Katie hides in a cupboard as the soldiers apprehend Emmett and take him away. Shaken, she returns home, while Bruce heads back to his hideout, knowing their battle is far from over. As William pulls out his gun and points it at Bruce, tension crackles in the air. But Bruce doesn't flinch, he senses something's off. When William pulls the trigger, there's a hollow click. The gun is empty. In that split second, realization dawns on William. Morgan, whom he had trusted, had deceived him. Morgan believed that Bruce was the key to saving everyone, not William. With no choice left, Bruce, despite the weight of guilt on his shoulders, is forced to pull the trigger and take William's life. Blood stains the floor and Bruce stands over his former ally, silent and filled with regret. Meanwhile, over at the labor camp, the atmosphere is grim and tense. The alien threat looms, their technology capable of wiping the camp off the map at any moment. Helen, determined and focused, arrives personally to retrieve Snyder, knowing time is running out. But Snyder, with a coldness in his eyes, insists on taking Brian with him before leaving. As they depart, the first rays of daylight slice through the sky, and with them comes a deafening explosion. The camp is engulfed in flames and debris. Brian watches, his heart sinking into despair as the last remnants of hope are shattered. The labor camp is no more, leaving him broken. Elsewhere, Bennett is interrogating Emmett, trying to pry every bit of information out of him. Emmett, feeling the pressure, reluctantly reveals that Sonia had recruited him for the resistance, and that the leader of the infamous Red Hand is none other than Sonia's mother, Karen. Bennett's eyes widen slightly at the revelation. The puzzle pieces begin to click together. Karen had recently met with William, and Bennett is left wondering about the implications. However, Emmett leaves out one crucial detail. It was William who had aided his escape. Emmett knows this could shift the delicate balance between survival and betrayal. Karen, upon learning from William about Sonia's death, is consumed by grief and rage. Her sorrow twists into hatred, and she believes that William is responsible for her daughter's death. Fueled by vengeance, she orders the Red Hand to hunt William down. They track him relentlessly, eventually cornering him. Just when it seems all hope is lost, Charlie, Gracie, and Lindsay burst onto the scene. Chaos erupts as Lindsay is brutally killed in the firefight, leaving Charlie and Gracie scrambling for cover. As gunfire echoes, William and Katie arrive to find Lindsay's lifeless body and the chilling mark of the Red Hand. Realizing the severity of the situation, they quickly formulate a plan. With precision, they pick off the Red Hand soldiers one by one, cold determination in their eyes. The cost is high, but William manages to save both of his children. As the dust settles, Snyder appears with Brian in tow. Without a word, Snyder leaves the boy at their doorstep and disappears into the shadows, his motives unclear. Bill, shaken by the recent events, decides it's no longer safe for them to stay. He voices his concern, ready to pack up and leave, when suddenly there's a knock on the door. It's Brian. Relief washes over William and Katie as they embrace him, overjoyed that their family is finally reunited. Even Iran, who has been holding on to hope, is ecstatic to see his siblings safe. The scene shifts to a pair of resistance pilots soaring through the sky. The tension is palpable as they prepare to cross the alien-built wall that separates them from Bruce. The cockpit is cramped, the air thick with anticipation. One of the pilots, Maria, grips the controls tightly. She knows the risk but is determined to complete the mission. Suddenly, a drone locks onto their plane. Alarms blare as it fires. The sky erupts in flames. One pilot is killed instantly in the explosion, but Maria manages to eject, her parachute unfurling just in time to save her life. She lands with a hard thud, bruised but alive. Word of Maria's survival spreads rapidly through the resistance, reaching Ben, who is immediately tasked with locating her missing co-pilot. Bennett, ever the strategist, assigns William and Bob to investigate the crash site. At the crash site, William stumbles upon a battered radio. His gut tells him this belonged to the fallen pilot. He knows that if he can match the frequency, he can communicate with Maria. It's a long shot, but it could be their best chance. William shares his findings with Katie, who agrees they need to help Bruce as well. There's too much at stake for their family not to get involved. Meanwhile, Bob uncovers a disturbing truth. Katie had stolen population data from Nolan's house, a critical piece of information that could expose their involvement with the resistance. Bob reports this to Bennett, who orders him to investigate Bill and Katie further. Bob, eager to prove himself, interrogates Emmett with renewed vigor. Under the pressure, Emmett reveals that a mysterious woman had tried to save him before the authorities arrived. Bob also manages to find a photograph of Katie, which he takes to Bennett as evidence of her involvement. Bennett, now convinced, orders Bob to spy on Bill and, if necessary, arrest him. Katie and Bruce, unaware of the danger closing in on them, track down Hans, hoping for answers about Maria. But they are too late. The Red Hand had already gotten to him, killing him and stealing the gauntlet, a powerful alien artifact. Maria had come for the gauntlet, and it's now clear that certain resistance factions are working to harness alien technology to fight back. Just as Bill is about to meet with Bruce and Katie, the Red Hand captures him. At the same time, Red Hand soldiers raid his home, taking his children hostage. When Katie learns of this, she immediately rushes back with Bruce, and together they storm the Red Hand's hideout. In a brutal battle, they take down the soldiers and rescue the children, escaping through the sewers to a hidden bunker. Bill, now arrested and facing Bennett's interrogation, remains defiant. He claims to know nothing about Bruce, insisting that Bruce never trusted him. But he offers a bargain. He has information about the pilot. Using the radio, William makes contact with Maria. Their conversation is brief but crucial. Maria arranges a meeting, though William knows it's a trap. At the rendezvous point, William, sensing danger, strikes Bob with a glass bottle and escapes with Maria. Together, they flee from the clutches of the Red Hand. In the aftermath, William is reunited with his family,